How are you doing today?
Oh, I feel refreshed.
Yeah,
Nice.
me too. It's actually really, really hot today, but it's nice. Okay, so today we have, can you pronunciate your name? Nikolaos.
Nikolaos Mourtogias.
Okay. And he's been a fruitarian for 9 years now, right? And raw vegan for longer than that, and vegan for even longer than that. And
Yes.
I was wondering, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your journey and the reason why you started this lifestyle of eating only fruit.
Okay, yes. First, it was back in 1999, 20, yeah, 24 years ago, and I went to United Kingdom to study in a university, and there someone mentioned the word vegan and what it meant, and by hearing the reasonings behind this ethical choice of diet and not to avoid the harming of animals, as long as there are other options for food. And also I watched a documentary that was called Earthlings around that time. And yeah, to me logically it clicked to yeah, eat anything else apart from animal flesh and secretions, so I avoid and minimize the harming to them. Yeah, and then later, many years after, was around 2008 possibly, I heard about the word raw veganism, and no need to put fire on and destroy the food and vegetables to eat them, and it's more efficient to eat in a raw and healthier state. So yes, and then eventually in 2014 it was, I've heard about the word fruitarianism and eating only raw fruits, and it reminded me also the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve and the story. So it clicked also ethically that yeah, fruitarianism is an extension of veganism, where we acknowledge the life of the plants, and they are living beings who want to complete their circle and avoid being eaten. So yeah, 2014 I started the fruitarian path.
All right. And can you tell us, I know you're not originally from the tropics. Right now you're in Ecuador, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you have established Fruitarian Utopia,
Yes.
right? In
Yes.
Ecuador. And I've been wondering if you can also tell us more about it, and why did you decide to move to the tropics and do that community thing and have your own fruit, let's say fruit forest?
Yes. Yeah. First, first time I migrated because of the diet was back in 2010. I was in UK at the time, but I wanted to practice the raw vegan diet, and I've realized that the altitude and the cold in United Kingdom and the limited production of fresh fruits and vegetables all year round, and the lack of sun for many periods of the year, I wasn't promoting the raw vegan diet. And so I moved back to Greece, to my home country, in 2010. to eventually be able to practice the raw vegan diet, which, yes, in Greece, it was a lot more fresh, the fruits and vegetables, and a lot more sun, more warm. So on a raw vegan diet, it was working, I think, overall quite all right. But then when I found out about the fruitarian diet and the raw fruits, I thought, yeah, I could do it in Greece. So I started for some years practicing it in Greece. But with the time, I've realized more and more that I needed more connection with nature all year round, a warm environment to expose my body to the elements of nature, uh, uh, like almost daily. And also, I needed more fresh and ripe fruits all year round. And I realized with time that I wasn't thriving in a fruitarian diet long term in a temperate climate like Greece. And so then I realized that the tropics, it is a more favorable environment for raw fruitarian diet and the type and quality of fruits. So 2019, first time I came to Ecuador to explore the country, the area. I came and visited already pre-existing communities like Terra Frutis and Fruit Heaven uh, that were focused on growing their own fruit trees and also the veganism and making an effort to practice raw also. So yeah, I came for 3 months in Ecuador, 2019. It ticked most of my boxes as a raw fruitarian. And then 2020, I took the decision to migrate to the tropics permanently and came back and stayed in Terra Frutis community, which it was working up to a point, but I was very passionate about raw fruitarianism though, and the community was about raw till 4, vegan mostly, and with time it wasn't meeting my needs of being surrounded by raw fruitarians and people who have that passion. And I realized then, yeah, it's time to create a safe place like that, a community, a retreat for raw fruitarians, people who want to practice this diet and lifestyle. So I bought a piece of land and started creating a fruit forest, and then eventually made structures, and now created the Fruitarian Eutopia place that can host simultaneously about maximum 6 to 8 people. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so you say like how you said how many people? 6,000 or 600?
No, 6 to 8 people at first.
Ah,
Yes.
6 to 8 people. I'm sorry. Okay, and you said you've been in the
Fruitarians,
other communities, right? And I wondered what like what made it hard for you to stay? Like, couldn't you sustain like fruits for dinner or like?
Yes, practicing the diet was really nice because I was receiving fruits from the land, from the fruit forest. I was receiving tropical fruits from local farmers. So the fruit quality was there and I was really happy with that. What I was missing was the connection and the mutual vision about raw and fruitarianism and the lifestyle that yeah extends with that. So I needed more connection and more respect on that diet And yeah, as I said, a mutual contribution towards a certain goal and a certain vision. Yeah, also when there is a lot of cooking happening around on the same table, on the same kitchen, yeah, it feels uncomfortable, the smells, it brings us back memories and images. And yeah, that wasn't helping. Although I was quite stable raw fruitarian and raw for years and years, still being around those smells and those images and this vibration of people eating those foods wasn't meeting my needs. Yeah, and I was feeling sometimes uncomfortable, a little bit sad, and yeah, until eventually I created a place that I don't experience that.
And what do you mean, like the vibrations of people around there?
Yes,
Did you feel like any difference in the energies of being around completely raw people or completely fruitarian people than being around people that eating like mostly raw and having the cooked?
yes, I think I will notice certain behaviors on different diets. People act and behave differently. They might have more emotions of fear when people are under a cooked chemistry, because it's a chemistry that, in my understanding, it harms the body and the cells and creates some form of attachment to the cooked chemistry. So yeah, I was thinking that maybe the people around me experience more sadness, more mood changes, ups and downs, more fear under it being undercooked, and as I said, some behavior that yeah, I wasn't feeling as inspired and comfortable.
So I remember last week when we had the conversation, I also told you that I noticed behaviors that around me 99.999% of the people eat meat still, and they eat everything. There are more vegans now than they were, but still it's really hard to find people in the in the modern life that eat this type of diet, right? I don't like to call it diet, but this is like how we eat. And I find that their reactions and their emotions are not as stable, and sometimes it feels like they take things like to it's like I don't really know how to explain this, but it makes it really hard for me as well to want to connect to people because of their reactions,
Yes.
to different situations. Yeah.
Yes. And also when there's different visions and goals, and sometimes can be opposite vision of goals. I think it makes it more difficult for connection to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also wanted to ask you, while you've been to Europe, was there a reason besides of, I mean, what was the most difficult thing for you when you were still living in Europe, in a city?
Yes, when I was in Greece as practicing raw fruitarianism, I did there for 6 years, being a raw fruitarian, and 8 years at that time. I think it was raw. So I was struggling during the winter times, from January to April. There was not much fresh fruits available to go and forage because of the winter and early spring. Not much production of fruits. So that was one reason. So I was losing a lot of weight and strength during those months. Um, the other reason was that the fruits, temperate fruits, in my understanding, can have less energy, less calories in them than tropical fruits. Tropical fruits tend to give more energy, more calories. They are creamier, so it can they can sustain more our needs as humans, I think. So it was difficult for me to live 2 months just on oranges and citruses. So that was one main thing. The other thing was I practicing raw fruitarianism with time. I've realized how important is to come in contact my body with nature daily, and the elements, the water, the sun, the soil, the earth, clean air, the sounds and energies of forests, the frequency, the sound frequency of the birds, and all the alive beings in the forest, like being immersed in alive beings. That energy, and I could come in contact with the elements in the summer, in some months, and I was getting a lot better. I was gaining weight, I was gaining strength, I was feeling overall happier. But then when the winter was coming and I couldn't go much out to expose my body to nature because of the cold, of the rain, of the not enough sun, yeah, I was my health and my emotions, I felt deteriorating, and I was not thriving. Yeah, I was just surviving, and yeah, that was the main reasons. And yeah, I wanted to grow my own fruits and know exactly what these fruits have been grown in, what type of soil, without any chemical fertilizers and pesticides and fungicides, and yeah, being inside the forest, be immersed. Because a lot of times in the cities, we still try to put more green or practice more green, but the percentage for me is not enough. Like having 70% inorganic concrete materials, asphalt, and then 20% of green is yeah, it's not ideal for me. I prefer the ratios to reverse, to be like
100%.
of organic materials and alive beings and a forest, and being surrounded and immersed in it, and just 10-20% of yeah, inorganic materials. Yeah.
I have another question for you, since you've been really long time on this lifestyle. I'm only 2 years on the fruitarian lifestyle, and okay, I have two questions. Did it happen when you were still in Europe, that like when you struggled? Did you ever flip? Like, did you ever tempt to eat something that isn't raw or isn't like fruitarian during these years?
Yes. First, I would like to mention that, as I said, it took me years to transition to the different ethical dietary stages. So became vegan in 1999. I started practicing the raw diet properly in 2011. I became raw 2012. And then after 2 years, 3 years from that, 2014, I became raw vegan. So it took me some time to transition to the different stages. So, and I think that helped me to have more stability in those choices and prevent sleep bugs and fallbacks, because experiencing each stage fully, I was enjoying each stage fully. I didn't feel any like shame or regrets or guilty on each stage. I was experiencing fully. I was finding joy on the vegan diet, on the raw vegan and gourmet, and all the recipes, and the dehydrators and the blenders and the smoothies. So it was really and
Yeah.
beautiful. So I was creating something more beautiful than the previous, you know. So,
Yeah.
and then the fruits, eventually found beauty in whole fruits, in all the structures and colors and aliveness and simplicity. So I was doing each stage out of joy and taking time to adapt my mind, my emotions, my body, each diet. I didn't think I was abusing my body or coming out of a deprivation mentality and a fasting and detox mentality. I didn't do it for detox. Yeah. So having all that, I think that helped me not to have fallbacks. The other thing I realized from the start how attached I was to cooked chemistry and addicted to it, and how powerful it can be, and like one is too many, because a lot of time the mind thinks, oh, I will just eat once, but one is too many. It usually brings a whole circle of yeah, more and more and more. So uh, so I realized this strong attachment I had, and I yeah, when I was ready to move to being completely raw or to be completely fruitarian, yeah, I didn't have sleepbacks. Apart from the beginning of the road, the first year, I was yeah, just a funny quick story. Yeah, I was following the Christian religion, the Orthodox Christian religion, and I was following the mass every Sunday, and they were giving some bread, holy bread,
Yeah, I
and
heard that they feed you in the church when you go, like, and they.
hand you like a blessed bread and wine,
Yeah.
uh, and because I was into this religion mindset, and I was like thinking, oh, it's blessed, is God. I will eat this cooked thing, but then that will bring cravings to me, and I will think it all week. Oh, the bakery and all that, you know, and then I eventually I found myself going to take more pieces from the priest because of the cravings. Like instead of just one piece that most people were taking, I will go back to take more because of this addictive attachment to the bread and all that. So when I realized that, okay, whether holy or not, it wasn't serving me, it was hindering me down. So that was 2011. So 2012, I took the decision that, yeah, I don't participate anymore in that ritual, in that thing, because it doesn't serve me, because I want to stick raw. And since 2012, yeah, I was very tempted in the winters when it was cold and losing weight and feeling weak. I was very tempted to boil something hot, a hot soup, something roasted, some bread, to be comforting and warm. Uh, but then I thought, no, if I do that, it will be very difficult to go back on track again, and for me.
Mhm.
So I said, no, better lose weight. I thought, okay, maybe you can do some detox, or I thought, let's put the whole fruits inside the dehydrator and warm them up, you know, like, and it was a little bit working, you know. I will use the dehydrator to warm few things up, and uh, yeah. So I didn't sleep back. Yeah.
Yeah, that they takes a very high discipline to be on a fruitarian lifestyle,
Yeah. And
especially when
also,
every. Yes, and also, okay, keep
and
going.
also that because I was almost the only one practicing passionately like that around me in the whole place. I was so passionate telling to people about the benefits and the ethics and the harmony, how we can make a better society eating fruits. And then I realized, if I am who was so passionate about it, don't be able to live like what I'm saying, and my actions meet my words also, that won't be encouraging and inspiring to others around me. So that's another reason that helped me stick to raw, the sense of also integrity and responsibility towards my own self, and also towards people around me.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I experimented with, I didn't experiment with bread ever. Oh, wait. In the very beginning, I did, but then there is something in your mental, something in your mentality changes once you put something like cooked inside of your body, and it takes. Did you notice that it took like a few days until you felt like you're getting back to yourself when you
Uh, Definitely took me more days. I would say sometimes even a month.
wow. Wow. Yeah, months, it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. And what differences would you say you also experienced, any spiritual differences in like how you feel ever since you transitioned into fruitarianism?
Yes, definitely more clarity of mind, more clear.
Mm.
Second, more stable emotions. No ups and downs. So stable emotions. Third, um, a lot less fear in me. Fear of the unknown, fear of the future, uncertainty, insecurity. These feelings became a lot less. I can control more my actions and my words, as I have more clear mind and or aware mind. And with time, a sense of contentment in me, like long-term joy, long-term happiness. So feeling comfortable and content, and in align with my own self and my own values. Because one of the worst things I've experienced is when I'm not in alignment with my inner self. I'm not in agreement with my inner self. I said to myself one thing, I did the other, and then he's not, myself is not trusting me anymore, and we are not in alignment and in agreement. So when I became closer to my goals and to my values as a person, and I acted with actions matching my values more and more, then my inner self and we became one. We became in agreement. And then I could sleep a lot more peaceful. As I said, yes, things like that.
Yeah. I also feel like once the more you are on this lifestyle, it's like your senses are getting really, really sharp. And you notice, like when you walk around, even me when I live in the city, all of a sudden I notice the flowers, and I never stopped smelling flowers before. And all of a sudden it's just like, and how does this flower smell? And like no one is smelling the flowers, and this is crazy. I'm like, why aren't you doing these things? Or yeah, I just feel way more connected to everything, and yeah, I feel
And
happier as well. Huh?
and also the other thing mentioned about this sensing more things. Yes, I experienced that too. My senses got clearer, and so they can perceive more inputs from the environment. And also I started noticing more and appreciate more the living beings, the life.
Yeah.
When something is dead and when something is alive. And so the flowers and the plants and the trees start taking a different meaning in me. I could see the life in them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, in Hebrew, the word tree also is, it's like a foundation to the word, like giant, you know, like,
Yes.
yeah, so you say etz, and then it's like giant, it's like atzum. So it's based on the tree, which is, yeah, it like teaches you a lot about the qualities of a tree, you know, like how amazing is this thing that provides us everything, almost everything we need, you know. So I also wanted to ask you, since you have mentioned it before, I've been talking to a lot of raw vegans and fruitarians ever since I started this this journey, and there are a lot of people that claim, maybe they want to claim, or maybe they're just raw vegans and not fruitarians. I think being raw vegan, you can still manage, as you said, if you don't live in the tropics. But I felt a very strong attraction to go to the tropics last winter, when it was my first winter as a fruitarian. And I was just, I don't know why, I just felt like I needed to be there. And it's like I felt like I was thriving way more in there. The heat, I was more flexible, I was breathing better, my skin looked better, I even lost weight, and I had like a lot of jackfruits from the tree. And I don't know, everything in the tropics just made me feel like much better than I do feel in here. Even if I do eat fruits here, you know, it's not, there's something missing still, you know, living in the city. And I've had a few talks about it, and there was someone who is like living, and he said, oh, you can succeed on this lifestyle. I mean, you can succeed, but the question is, do you think that as a fruitarian, do you think that we can actually thrive in a non-tropical environment?
I think it can be done, especially nowadays with all the importation that is happening, and people bring fruits from other places. So technically, it could be done. So someone can stick and eat fruits. So that's doable. Whether though someone will thrive, I think that in the tropics is the place to thrive. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm sorry. It's just I was outside and my phone was, the temperature was probably too high for my phone, but I don't feel it. So I think, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So
what were we saying?
we were talking about thriving as a fruitarian in a non-tropical environment, and I'm mentioning like thriving and not managing.
Yeah. Yes. I think it can be done not in the tropics with modern importation of fruits, but I wouldn't use the word thriving in those climates. That's the reason I'm here in the rainforest, in the Amazon, in the tropics, growing my own fruit trees and for the community. And we live and eat fruits from the land, freshly picked almost daily, and yeah, being immersed in nature and in warm environment. So that's what I call thriving. And eventually also fruitarian is not just a way of eating. It involves, as I said, ethics, environment, social aspects, as community, as humans. So yeah, it eventually becomes more of a lifestyle than just a diet. And yeah, I would use the word thriving for the tropics.
Yeah, 100%. I also wanted to ask you, yeah, do you find, you mentioned like having, you know, the same ethics and the connections are different when you are eating a different way, and you also like your values are changing, right? Your aspiration changes. What do you think that has changed in the way you look at society and the way you look at relationships as a whole, now that you are doing what you're doing, you know?
Yes, I think raw fruitarianism changed me gradually. It was a gradual process over time, and it's still happening. One main thing that changed me and comes to mind is bring my whole being to the present. What do I mean by that? I grew up quite close to the Christian Orthodox religion in Greece, and according to that, I was in a way fantasizing and imagining more what will happen like in the future. Either it will be the second coming of Christ, or when I die, I will go to a better place. I will be among God and spiritual beings and in paradise. So the beauty, it was more in the future. It wasn't in the present. In my being, so I wasn't valuing, I think, enough the life I had been given, the society we have as humans, uh, Earth as a planet, this existence, this lifetime, because it was, yeah, as I said, the future of the afterlife was more beautiful than the present. But when I became fruitarian and raw, over time I've realized that in my mind now, I believe that the here we can experience this beauty, and we are meant to experience it here in this world, in this earth. Life is given to us, this beautiful planet, this beautiful environment, nature, trees, fruit trees. We can create Garden of Edens and paradises here on earth, and these idyllic places. We can treat each other with love and compassion and empathy and respect, and we can have all these really nice things here in this lifestyle among us, and we can create that, because at the end of the day I realized that's the only guaranteed life I have. That living in this lifestyle, in this life as a human, is 100% guarantee. That's my life. What will happen after, I don't have it as a guarantee. It's nice theories, nice concepts that may well be true, but I don't know. And I prefer to find out when the time comes. But now, living here in the present as a human, I brought the focus in creating this heaven on earth and here. So I became very passionate about life. I really enjoy waking up in the morning. All depression and sadness and negativity lifted because now I have a purpose and a meaning, and I experience the beauty. I'm creating fruit forests. I produce fruits. I eat. I community with like-minded people. Uh, all this we experience here in the forest. These things I dreamed as a young kid and I thought couldn't happen in this world, but they're happening to me, and I feel so happy, and being in the present and in the now and sensing everything around me, the connection with the divine changed. It became a lot more closer. I feel more closer to the divine, and my life has a meaning now, and that's changed me fundamentally as a person, and the way I think and behave, and the beauty I now experience, because raw fruitarianism allowed me over time, long term, to, as you said, to enhance the senses and experience the beauty of life. So I value life a lot more now. I avoid do things that are risky, like bungee jumping and things like that, because I value my life more. I value my existence. I love myself more. I don't want to harm myself.
Yeah.
So
We have only
that's
one. Yeah. We have only one lifetime and one physical body, and we live inside of it. So
yes,
that's something that a lot of people like give as an excuse to do the opposite,
yes,
that you only have one life, so I better, do all of this, take a lot of drugs or go partying all day and drinking and whatnot, basically harming their bodies, thinking that this is what life is supposed to be about.
yes, yes. And also now the other thing, extension to what I described, is that now I care more about the future generations, because the only guaranteed afterlife I have is through this collective consciousness of the next generation. So whatever I do now that the young people and the next generation find valuable, it's like I'm building something, this my consciousness for the next generations. So my spirit, in a way, my who I am, it will carry through them, and that's the only guaranteed thing I have of immortality. So all the rest, if they happen, great. I'll find out when it's time. But until then, yeah. Now rain started a lot, and I need to go a little bit inside for the mobile not to get too wet. So I
Okay.
will move.
All right. But okay, that was it. Is it safe now?
Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit darker, but yeah, just need
Okay.
to protect the mobile from the rain.
Yeah. Is it raining hard now? Like it's a rainy season again?
Here we have rain and sun all year round. It's not a clear rainy or dry season. It depends on the months. Some months are more rainy than others. So yes, theoretically we are more in the rainy months now. Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned like future generation.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you see yourself like having a family in like where you are and actually having the future generation, and how do you think you will raise kids
Yeah.
if you are planning on having those?
Mentioning about family, at the present moment in my life, I'm not as passionate to raise a child myself. I prefer to focus all my energy in already born humans and children and young generation, because I think that is more my purpose in this lifetime. Although I haven't ruled out maybe in the future to have a kid, but it's not alive in me at the moment. So, but other people are really alive to have kids, and that's great. Our the Fruitarian Eutopia community's neighbor is another community that's also focuses on raw and fruits called Paradise Garden, and it's a family of 6 kids. So our neighbor is a raw fruitarian with 6 kids, and the kids eat raw and fruits, and they're fruit based, and it's so inspiring for me to see that family thriving and the kids thriving on raw and fruit diet. And yeah, it's certainly doable. People here in the communities have kids, and that's great to see the new generations growing up in forests and in eating fruits rather than in cities.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I feel like I cannot have a child in this world until I'm going somewhere that I think is suitable for a child to grow, or like being in nature, climbing trees, not sitting inside of 4 walls all day. And yeah, that's crazy.
Yes,
Right.
I think this environment with time, when people stay long term, I think they get inspired because they experience the beauty, as you said, to maybe have a family and yeah, kid, because yeah, they experience more happiness in this world, in this environment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just to sum up, I wanted to ask you for some tips for people who want to stay on this lifestyle long term, and just some advice, and what other things you can say to them in the beginning
Yes,
of their journey.
for me, I would think it will benefit people if they take slowly the transition on the different stages of ethical diet. Be really ready inside to move to the next step, because each dietary choice, although at first it appears to be just what I put in my mouth, and it can be simple, you know, instead of putting that, I'll put the other. But a lot of that, as I said, it can be an extension and affects mentally, emotionally, physically, and certain, in my opinion, certain lifestyle actions and certain mindsets that we people have might not be matching with the diet we are trying to follow, and can be contradicting. And the diet long term, the very simple, clean fuel, uh, clean energy diet might not be able to support certain mindsets, certain habits we have, certain lifestyle choices. And then it can, yeah. And then at that time, we need to make a choice sometimes, and it can happen subconsciously. Do we carry on with the diet, or we carry on with certain mindsets and habits and change the diet? And so I want to say to people that when they make a diet, an ethical dietary change consciously to follow long term, the challenges that will appear in their life, in their mind, thoughts, patterns, emotions, social challenges, and yeah, they might find they need to work on themselves more, on their shadows and their traumas and what they have learned, and they might require to unlearn certain things. And so in my understanding over the years, it's a lot more deeper, the change of diet. Yeah, people take time, be aware of that, keep working on themselves. And yeah, it involves philosophy, and yeah, it's not just a diet, in my opinion. So yeah.
So take it easy. Take it slow. Basically,
Yeah.
it's like taking it slow, right?
Yes, yes. And always what helped me when I had these intense cravings or thoughts to fall back, or the very low moments, it was like, and I was thinking, oh, the diet is to blame. Most of the times it wasn't the fruits or the raw to blame, were some other things in me I was lacking. And the diet was enough, but there were some other things that I needed to make some decisions and change in myself, and think differently, and reshape my whole routine and life daily to match the fruits and the raw. So it was, the answers were, yeah, in me a lot of the times.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you said because it's the last question. You said that
Yeah.
you went into this lifestyle because of ethical reasons. And what I wanted to say is
Ethical, philosophical, yes.
yeah,
Prevention of health, like not to get also diseased and sick. Yeah.
did you suffer from something, you know, the
No, but I wanted to prevent not to suffer. Like, yeah, not to get like pathologies.
And what I wanted to ask is, do you support people going on this lifestyle just for weight loss and like just for this reason, or doing a lot of fasting? Do you think that it's going to help you sustain this lifestyle?
For me, for someone to become vegan or raw vegan or fruitarian, I think for someone to maintain it long term and make it like concrete, stable, I think eventually at some point the ethical aspect and the whole, yeah, philosophical aspect is worth to be acknowledged, and in order to help something long term. Because for weight loss, for example, there are also other diets and other strategies that people can do to achieve a weight loss. For healing, yeah, people can also do fastings in all sorts of diets. People do fasts, and or they control and regulate a little bit their diets, and they can still experience some healing or some detox. And of course, being on raw and fruits, it speeds up the healing, and it gives more chances for people to heal. But then again, a lot of people go back and then again, the problems start happening again, or other problems start appearing. So to me, yeah, it, I think is more efficient, and also the ethical aspect to be, and the philosophical aspect to be taken into consideration. And yeah, I mean, yeah, and it can be risky a little bit sometimes, because when people do it just for weight loss and then coming back, and like sometimes too many backs and forths of cooked and raw, cooked and raw, cooked and raw, uh, sometimes can feel tiring and disheartening, and yeah, people end up giving up altogether. So yeah, it's not always ideal, this back and forth.
So you say it's better to stay stable and like not doing something that is, it can be too much on your body and too much on your mental clarity that can
Yes,
unstabilize it. Yeah.
because sometimes it's a borderline. We do something to heal and help our body, or ends up being abusive and depriving to the body. So it's a fine line there, and we are not fully aware of who we are, why we are doing things. It can tip to the other end of the pendulum and may not be balanced overall. And sometimes I notice sometimes people do the raw diet and the fruitarian diet to balance mentally. And yes, up to a point, it will bring more clarity, it will help, but some things, some mental things might need other strategies also to be taken into consideration and account for people to help themselves, and mindsets. And so sometimes just putting the body to such intense practices just to balance mentally, it can tip and go all the way around, and not people not get help. Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes the problem and the pain we experience, even physically, it's not the physical body that's suffering, that is the mental aspect and the emotional world. And yeah, we can the body, we can put it to so much deprivation, lose more and more weight, lose more weight, detox, never ending detox. But people are not getting the mental things they were maybe wanting, and the mental balance. And yeah, they maybe need other things to check.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is exactly what I'm experiencing. I think that a lot of people are really focusing on detoxing instead of, you know, just staying sustainable, like staying stable at these practices, and also working on their mental things and traumas. Yeah, and not saying like yeah, not doing it just to get rid of the traumas, but just to try and deal with your past and try to change things that you don't like, you know, about yourself or your environment, or, you know, just start seeing what's really happening, which is not easy. It's like not
Yeah,
an easy thing to do.
because
So
the raw diet and the fruitarian diet will bring more clarity to the person. People can deal more with their own thoughts and their own emotions. They will probably sense them more. So it in one subject it's easier, because these diets bring more things to the surface, so we notice them. But the diet cannot work these things, cannot balance it. It just will bring our awareness to them. So we need to work on them, and bring some resolution to these things, and change our mindsets yeah, otherwise, yeah, it can be even tricky, and a lot of people cannot handle that, and that's another reason they don't stick to raw and to fruits, because they cannot handle their thoughts and emotions and the pain and the fears and the traumas that this diet might bring more to the surface, and they panic and they don't know how to deal with that. And yeah, so yeah, it's not just a diet.
Yeah. So I would advise people to just take it slow, take it easy on themselves, and try to be patient with themselves as well, you know, and not this world that we live in now is not, it's not how we meant to live, you know. It's far,
Yes.
far from natural. It's far from what our body needs, you know, and what our soul needs to actually live, you know.
Yeah. And that is the reason here in the community on Fruitarian Eutopia, we daily invest some time not just on the fruit trees and the fruits and the eating and the experience in nature, and but also we enjoy having non-violent communication, how we communicate with each other. And also, so we practice that. We do non-violent communication circles to improve further our communication. And also we do book studies, and we analyze the different concepts of how practically they can help our lives and our minds. And we practice meditation. We try also a lot to work on ourselves and sharing circles, and share with each other if we have struggles or issues that we want to share. Because yeah, it's not just the physical aspect. We humans, we have thoughts, we have mind, we have emotions, and yeah, maybe we need to look after those as well, so we are whole and balanced human beings on all three aspects of physical, mental, and emotional.
Yeah. Beautifully said. So, okay, that would definitely be the last question. What, so you mentioned a few of the things that you're doing in your, can I call it a retreat center? It's not a retreat
Yes,
center. It's a retreat
yes,
center.
it's a community and retreat center. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to tell people more about this community?
Yes.
So if they want to come and they want to experience, so they know what to expect.
Fruitarian Eutopia is a community and retreat here in the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador. We have a fruit forest that we have planted a lot of fruit trees. Some of them already started producing. We eat daily some percentage of fruits from the land. And we also get fruits from local farmers, neighbors, and other communities and indigenous people. So our focus is fruitarian diet, raw whole food fruitarian diet. So we only eat fruits. People only eat fruits while they stay here. And usually we have routines, a routine like we wake up in the morning, we do our meditation at sun rise, meditation, some yoga, and then we go to the farm. We take care of the fruit trees. We then, after 2 hours, we go harvesting. So we find ripe fruits for the day. And then, yeah, we come, we have a bath to the stream. to connection with nature. Then our main meal in the community is around before midday, around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Some people practice one meal at that time, others more meals of fruits. So that time is our main meal. Then we take some time to rest, and usually in the afternoon we do some non-violent communication circles, some sharing circles, book studies, Spanish learning, some workshops, educational workshops, and then going towards the sunset, we go for walks in nature barefoot. Some people, so we go and in the natural environment, and we connect while we walk in nature and discuss and philosophize, and yeah, then come back when it's early night, maybe 7 o'clock, and we might do some other activities like playing music and sing and put candles, sometimes watch the stars when the night is clear, and the moon, some moon gazing. And also sometimes we might decide to watch a movie or a documentary that has more of a educational or inspiring content. So then we will discuss about that movie or documentary and share our thoughts and feelings. And then, yeah, usually at night, yeah, early night, we lights go down, internet goes down, and it's time for meditation and sleep until the next day. So that's roughly routine. Also, sometimes we join other communities, we do joint events with other communities. And also sometimes we make trips. We go to in natural places, in waterfalls, in reserves, natural places near us, and we have fruit mills there. And so yeah, life can be more quite exciting here, and also like a retreat. And so people can have both socialization, nature, and also some alone time to meditate and contemplate and get in touch with their inner selves and live more in peace and harmony. So that's, and for people to join, there are 3 options. If they're already practicing raw vegan diet and fruitarian diet for at least 3 months, being stable in raw, they can come and stay as volunteers or rent a room. And if there are some people who still try the raw diet, but on and off they eat cooked and they find some difficulty in that aspect, then we host retreats, specialized retreats, specific retreats for that, focus retreat. So these individuals can join us, follow a retreat first, and then after the retreat, if they desire, they can carry on staying and keep on practicing that. So we have that option for the people, but for everyone, the minimum requirement is at least to have been practicing a vegan diet for at least a year in their lives, are stable in that, and have some experience in trying raw foods and fruits. So yeah.
All right. Is there any last thing you would like to add?
Yes, I would like to add one last thing about raw vegans and raw fruitarians who are thinking whether their environment is not suitable and want to migrate to nature or to the tropics. There people already started doing that, and what helped me at first in this migration is to come for 3 months and live in communities who already did that. People get in touch with people who already did that. I visited the place I was thinking to migrate to. I stayed there, felt how it is for me, and then going back, take a decision whether, yes, it ticks most the boxes or not. Because I've noticed with time that sometimes there were people who really wanted to migrate and go to the tropics, came, experienced, they became even more passionate and did that. And other people thought they were really ready to move to nature and to the tropics, but when they came and lived this lifestyle for various reasons, realized they wanted to go back to their places and maybe do it in the future. So unless someone tries it, doesn't really know 100% for sure that he wants to do it. That's the experience I have gotten, and also I've seen others around me that, yeah, before migrating is worth trying first, visiting, and yeah, then making a conscious decision, knowing what is needed and what is required.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you've been only to Ecuador, or you've been to also other tropical places before you decided to?
Yes, myself, I only came to Ecuador because I had a list of things that I wanted to meet my needs, tick the certain boxes, and also I was in an age around 40 years old that I wanted to create things. I had this vision of creating fruit forest. I knew the trees take time. I wanted to create a community. So I was in a phase in my life I wanted to do things and create things rather than traveling a lot. So when I came to Ecuador and lived with the communities here, I realized why these communities were formed in this part of Ecuador, in Ecuador, and not in other tropical places like Asia. And then it ticked most of my boxes, and that's why I stayed here and I don't have the need to go and explore other tropical places to see whether it will meet more the needs, because there were certain practical things that enabled me to do all these things here in this place that I had in mind.
Yeah,
but
it's also a part of experiencing the moment, right? Just staying and not looking for other.
And I've realized that there is a fine line between among like people. It's a fine line from going to different places and explore and see where you like more, which I think that's really reasonable and valid and can people meet needs. But also I've seen people traveling and traveling and traveling for years and years trying to find their ideal place. And I still see those people haven't settled, haven't created a fruit forest, and haven't stabilized, and they keep searching and searching. And I hope they do find this ideal thing they have in mind, but maybe also they cannot find, or it's not there yet, or sometimes we need to create things we want in life. And so there is a fine line between, I think, exploring various places, but also taking a decision eventually to settle and create things. And things that are not ideal, work on them to try making them better.
Yeah, like for an instance, if you don't make enough of a living, try to find a way to serve your purpose, and maybe try to increase and do a better job on yourself at valuing yourself, and do something that can bring you more money to sustain and to be able to reach your goals, right? To get out of your comfort zone. So you won't
Yes,
have excuses of why you cannot do this, like not failing yourself, or also it's a different aspect though, but working
true.
towards this purpose. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And because the more clear-minded we become, the more in alignment with ourselves, the more balanced, the more we can be in touch of what we want to do in life and how we can serve society and humanity, and in what ways, and be more efficient and productive in it. Because in my understanding, a lot of what people call jobs or careers are things they do for the collective, things they also do for others, to serve and enrich other people's lives too. And yeah, the more we become in alignment and balance with our inner self and our true purpose in this world, then we might decide, okay, how can enrich others through that, and yeah, and the others might feel grateful for that and might decide to yeah, give some income or some finances to sustain ourselves and also live and create our dreams. And it's a mutual exchange like that. And yeah, so definitely that can happen.
Yeah. I'm also working on that right now, changing this comfort zone mentality. It's
Yeah,
quite it is quite challenging though.
yeah,
um
take some
yeah,
time.
yeah, I don't have time.
Mhm.
I do have time, but
Yeah, I'm seeing you're doing a lot of videos and promoting this lifestyle and on Facebook and social media, and I'm enjoying the content. So yeah, I love it.
thank you so much. It means a lot. Means a lot to me. And thank you also for joining this conversation or interview. And if people have any questions about migrating, or what you need to do, or going to this retreat center, or just going to experience life in the tropics in his community, so I'm putting a link to his website, and can I also put your Facebook page or whatnot? Can I?
Uh, you can put the website, you can put the Instagram page, Fruitarian Eutopia, and also the Facebook page that is also Fruitarian Eutopia. So yeah, people, if they are interested or experience that, they can yeah, give us a message and a call. Yeah.
So that would be our links in the video description. All right.
Yes.
And I want to thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful and sweet rest of your day.
Yes, thank you. And it was a pleasure connecting with you and discussing and making this video for anyone who's enjoying it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.